Good morning to all. Welcome to this first session on blockchain technologies. Okay, I'm sure you all might be very interested in learning blockchain, in exploring various things surrounding blockchain, and even trying to work out on the projects also. Okay, not only for your academics, but even out of the scope. If at all you are interested, you can explore it further. Okay. So I have already given an overview about all the unit-wise content that we have. Okay, but again, just to brief out, initial 3 units. Okay, they will be like giving us inputs about different kinds of what do you say, different parameters, in fact, which will be helping us to understand blockchain in a proper way. Okay, because you can see that there are so many security issues, security concerns emerging in this modern world. Okay, so if at all we wanted to design or come out with some sort of solution, it is very much essential for us to identify the basics, okay, thoroughly, to learn the basics thoroughly, and then only we will be able to explore things in more detail. Okay, so in the first and second units, we'll be identifying the various architectural components of blockchain, various consensus algorithms, okay, various types of blockchain networks. Okay, so all these things and history of blockchain, because it is essential for you to know, okay, where was the origin for blockchain, and how people began exploring this further, and what are various other concerns that can be further explored, right? So, and we have also in detail about one of the applications of blockchain, I can say, apart from Bitcoin and Ethereum. Okay, in fact, Bitcoin and Ethereum, these are also certain applications. These are cryptocurrencies which fall under applications of blockchain. Okay, but exclusively in your syllabus, we will be studying about Hyperledger Fabric. Okay, so Bitcoin and Ethereum, they are permissionless categories. Okay, what is permissionless, what is permissioned, I will tell you in detail. Don't worry about that. Okay, but just I'm telling you what things we'll be covering in our various units. Hope I'm clear, ma. Please let the session be interactive. Let it not be a one-way session. I'm not
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
sharing. Okay, thank you, Bhargav. I am not sharing the PPT as of now. I will share it shortly. Okay, so don't worry about the PPT and all. Okay, and third unit, as I mentioned, will be exploring Hyperledger Fabric, which is a permission blockchain. Okay, due to several security issues with permissionless, people switch towards this Hyperledger Fabric. Okay, so every category is having its own pros and cons, right? And coming to the fourth and fifth units, we'll be studying about various use cases associated with blockchain. Okay, see, because blockchain is not simply related to one branch or one field, it can be developed in multiple areas. Okay, though it has found its, its foundation is actually in financial sector. It originated with financial transactions and all, but now almost in every sector in the world, blockchain is being incorporated. Okay, so we'll be studying such use cases like when you're trying to go with this KYC, know your customer forms, how the evaluation and all is carried out, how the redundant data is eliminated. Okay, and in supply chain, okay, huge research is going on whenever people are trying to use this blockchain for supply chain purpose. Okay, when goods are being shipped from one end to the other, right? So we'll be thoroughly understanding basics throughout all these use cases. Okay, and we are having certain textbooks. They are freely downloadable. So I would request all of you. Okay, the first task that you can do is download all the NPTEL lectures with respect to blockchain. They are freely downloadable. Okay, blockchain is a 8-week course offered by NPTEL. Okay, I guess you have heard about this NPTEL. I'm sure you are having
Yes,
very
ma'am.
clear idea. You might have undergone or undertaken certain courses also. Okay, so to understand the subject in more better way, in depth, please you can download the NPTEL lectures, blockchain architecture and use cases or foundation. Something is the title. I don't remember exactly. Okay, two versions are there. For one version of this blockchain under NPTEL, you can download all the videos. They are freely available. Okay, so please, once you are done with the class, you download. Whenever you have time, whenever you wanted to dig deep into that subject, please go through the sessions. Okay, and the other task that you are supposed to do is try to download the textbooks and the suggested reading books also. Okay, they are freely downloadable. Okay, so whichever are not, we will try to work out. See, this is only for your improvement, because I'm sure you all might have opted this subject with a lot of enthusiasm and lot of curiosity to learn something. Okay, so I don't want you to give up that spirit, right? So for that reason, I am asking you to download all these things so that whenever you have free time, you can explore in detail. Okay, if you, because see now, especially if I talk with respect to Bitcoin, many students might have thought that blockchain is nothing but we will have all the content about Bitcoin. But when it comes to your syllabus, that is not the case. Bitcoin is just an application of blockchain. So we will go through certain basics of Bitcoin, but not in depth. So if you wanted to explore in depth, then these textbooks and the NPTEL videos will help you out. Okay, hope I'm clear. Some response.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. And now I will try to present my screen. Hope you are able to view, ma. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Okay. So let me put it in the slide share mode. Okay. Uh, I'm sorry, but I have not prepared the PPTs completely. I request you to focus on my speaking more rather than the PPT. This PPT is just like that I am displaying so that I can show you the pictorial representation and all. Okay. Now, coming to the introduction, see, straight away, I don't want to enter into the syllabus. Okay, because syllabus, it's okay. We will, however, go on with that. Okay, but I want you to understand the subject and I want you to work on some project or something. I'll feel happy if at all you come out with some real time implementation. Okay, so with all the things that I have discussed so far, one thing is very clear, that is, Bitcoin is not same as blockchain. In fact, it is just an application of blockchain. Now, what is this blockchain? Yes, what is this blockchain? By looking at this particular figure, what can you understand? Can I just call it as a chain of some collection of blocks? Yes, this is a node. Node is nothing but a system. Are you able to view my cursor pointing at that particular node? Yes, guys?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So, blockchain is nothing but it is a chain of blocks which are linked with each other. Okay, whether they are linked physically or whether they are linked logically. Okay, there exists the difference, right? Here you can see the physical links, but they are logical links as well. Okay, logical links are established. Now, by looking at this, it is okay. But when you have so many flavors, like you have centralized systems, you have decentralized systems, okay, then why we need to study about this blockchain? Yes, it comes under which category? You can see here the first point, distributed network. Okay, so before actually understanding blockchain, it is very much essential for you to understand what were the different kinds of systems available. Okay, different architectures, in fact, to design or to work on a particular application. Yes, so what kind of architectures existed initially? Let me please check out whether I have put that slide or no. Yes, I got it. Okay, so what is the difference don't go with the term ledger here. I just wanted to show you the diagram. Okay, forget about ledger and all. I will discuss about it. Yes. So initially we had centralized architectures. Okay, I'm talking about the types of architectures, right? What is the difficulty with each one and why blockchain is using this distributed architecture or distributed network. Okay, hope I'm clear, guys. Yes. At any point of time, if you are facing any difficulty in understanding, you please let me know. Okay? Shall I proceed?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Thank you. So, just see the diagram. Don't focus on ledger. Okay, what is ledger and all, I will tell you later. Now, centralized system. What can you see here? Our banking systems. Isn't it? They are all centralized. That means, yes, the transactions that are performed by various clients, yes, that has to be authorized, that has to be validated by the central banking authority, right? So that is a centralized system, okay? Where suppose that these days many banks are merging, isn't it? Many banks are merging with one single bank. So what is happening due to that? Certain services are getting interrupted, isn't it? They are just dropping a message that so and so maintenance issues are there, so please bear with us. Okay, it will be resolved after 2 days. Yes or no? How many of you have experienced that kind of things? Yes, I'm sure at least few of you who regularly perform your banking transactions, who have an SMS alert service, you all might be experiencing such things, isn't it? Arey Baba, just tell me yes or no.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes? Okay. So that means if the bank authority or if the central administrator at the bank, okay, if that person is not able to take up anything, that means there is certain failure. Okay. And when that centralized authority is failing, what about these clients? They will not be able to perform any kind of transactions, isn't it? That is the difficulty with the centralized architecture based systems. Okay, there is a central coordinator. That means there will be one boss, one master, and remaining all are like clients, just like client server machines or master slave architecture. All these come under centralized. Okay, so if at all the central coordinator is failing, then what will happen? The clients will not be able to perform any kind of operations. But do you think with the modern world, in modern world, huge amount of data is emerging. Okay, people are getting more smarter. They are getting more exposed to the use of technologies. Do you really think that the dependency on these centralized systems will work out? Yes, suddenly I wanted to I wanted to join my sibling into some particular engineering college. Okay, I wanted to withdraw money, but I can't do it online. But I stay somewhere in the remote area where it is very much difficult for me to travel physically. Then what is the solution? I need to wait. Either I need to travel or I need to wait for the services to come up, isn't it? So the people nowadays, they are not having so much of time. They are not having so much of patience. I think we have to accept this fact. Okay, in order to get the work done quickly. Okay, so that is why we cannot restrict ourselves to survive with the centralized systems. Okay, right? Because of lack of time, because of lack of resources, we have to find out some other alternative. So what did people do? Yes, what did people do? From centralized, they have tried to move towards another system. Yes, can anyone tell me what is there in between centralized and distributed? In this representation it is not shown, but what is there? Can anyone guess? After centralized, directly do we have distributed, or were there, or was there something in between? Just you can guess, ma. Let the session be interactive. Yes.
There might be a possibility that a system with hybrid, like intermixture of distributed and as well as centralized.
Very good, very good. Thank you. Thank you for your response. So, after centralized, okay, people directly didn't switch to distributed, but in fact, there were certain modifications made because if one boss is there and all clients have to report to that boss only, if that boss suddenly resigns, then clients will not know what to do. If there is an emergency, they do not know whom to contact, isn't it? So, that is why there was some modification. Okay, of this centralized, which is decentralized system. Okay, so it is something like a mix of centralized and distributed, but yes, it is more close to distributed, right? So coming to decentralized, now how that may appear, instead of one bank or one central authority, there will be multiple central authorities. Okay, you can record the place where I am trying to scroll my cursor. Okay, suppose that in between A and C, there is one coordinator C1. In between C and D, there is another coordinator C2. Similarly, in between B and D, there is C3, and in between B and A, there is C4. So instead of one single coordinator, there are multiple coordinators. Okay. So with this, what may be the advantage? Can anyone tell me? Yes, what will be the advantage because of having multiple coordinators?
They can solve the client's problems easily.
Very good, very good. The client's problems can be resolved easily. And particularly, we have to think about failures. Okay, in the event of failures, what will happen? Suppose that this particular coordinator C1 has failed due to some network issue. That means clients A and C, they will report to this fellow C1. But they are unable to reach C1 due to some network issues, due to some power disruptions, or due to some other failures. Then what is the possibility that they have? They will try to, these all people, they may be either at same location or multiple locations. Okay, that depends on the scenario, that depends on the use case, right? So if at all this fellow C1 is failed, then what these clients will do, they will try to report. Now see, this C1 can be like a HOD. In the absence of HOD, what this faculty will do, they will approach some in charge HOD, so that C2 will act as a in charge HOD. Okay, so that means certain kinds of difficulties are overcome in decentralized systems. So isn't it better when compared to centralized? Isn't it better, ma?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes, it is better. It is efficient when compared to the centralized system, because in centralized only one boss. If that fellow fails, clients do not know whom to approach. There is no in charge, nothing. But in decentralized, it is not like that. There is an in charge also. Under that in charge, again, there can be some other representatives as well. So if at all one is failing, the others will take up the charge of that failed node. Okay, so the difficulties of network failures are resolved. But can you analyze what may be the other problems in decentralized system? See, ultimately, all the nodes again they need to interact through this network only. And suppose that if all the clients and all their bosses are residing in one particular location. Okay, suppose all of them are sitting in CBIT. Okay, all the clients are faculty of CBIT and all the bosses are heads of various departments. Suppose that due to some heavy rains, there is network disruption. Then what will happen? Then what will happen, ma? Yes? In that case, how will the clients communicate? Yes?
Uh, no idea, ma'am.
Okay, so if all the clients, okay, they are reporting to the heads. I'm just linking it with some real-time examples so that you can understand easily. Okay, so clients are faculty, and if at all there are heavy rains, and Suppose that this is online mode of working. Okay, just like in COVID era, everyone have worked online. They did not report physically, but they have accessed the servers of college only, isn't it? All the faculty, they need to log in. Okay, they have done it through the CBIT servers only. Login, attendance and everything was recorded, right? So if at all the servers are not reachable, all servers at a time, when I'm talking system, this is entire CBIT system. Okay, and due to heavy rains, if the servers are unreachable, then what will happen? Though there are heads, though there are in charges, though there are other representatives, none of them is reachable, isn't it? So the difficulty arises in decentralized systems when all the coordinators are failing due to network issues. If one coordinator is failing, it is okay. If two are failing, then also it is okay. At least one, if it is functional, then also it is fine. Everything will go on. Though the speed may decrease, the speed at which work is getting performed, that may decrease when the nodes are failing. But ultimately, the output will be obtained. But the difficulty arises in decentralized when all the bosses are failing, all the coordinators are failing, right? Okay. So that is the reason which made people to think in a different direction. And I don't know why people are joining so late. What, Dinakar? What, Nana? Why so late? Why Lakshman has left? Guys, please try to stay connected. Try to join on or before time. 1 2 minutes grace period is also acceptable. Okay. But please don't try to be too late. Otherwise, you may miss out certain concepts. And one excellent good thing about blockchain is you don't have your entire content at one place when you wanted to read it by yourself. Okay, if you think that classwork is not needed, I can read it by yourself, then no, you will be doing a very big mistake. Okay, because you don't have the entire content at one place. Okay, so please try to be regular, try to listen to the lecture, and try to be in time. Okay, 1 or 2 minutes grace period is acceptable, but don't try to exceed that. Okay, and still, if you have any difficulty, please post it in that blockchain group. Okay, still, those who have not yet joined the group, I request you to please join immediately. The link invite is already shared to your CRs. Please contact them, get the invite, and join the blockchain group. Right? Okay. So, coming back, where was I? Can someone let me know? See, this is the problem. If someone is interrupting in between, then my flow will break. Yes, someone can let me know till where we have discussed.
We were discussing how if everyone is talking to an in charge and something happens, then what might happen.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Bhargav. So that made people to think in a different direction, okay, which gave rise to distributed systems. I'm sure you might have studied your distributed computing or something in your previous semesters. Even if you didn't study also, not to worry. Okay, so then came distributed systems into existence. Okay, so in this distributed systems, now you can say this architecture. Okay. Do you find any boss here? Do you find any kind of central controller or subcontrollers? No, isn't it? We don't have any kind of bossism here. So this is based on peer to peer networking. Peer to peer means every node in the network will participate equally to carry out the work given to them. Okay, right? This is just like all the faculties, they are having some meeting to complete one particular task. Suppose that there is NBA visit. Okay, then what the faculties will do? They will share the work among themselves. Okay, now suppose even if you take students also, the multiple students may work on a single project. Suppose that in a particular project there are 5 students, then what they will do? They will work in coordination with each other. There may be certain priorities, however, among them also there may be a leader, but it is not known to the outside world. Okay, that is all existing internally, right? So there is no boss, there is no master, there is no central coordinator here. Every node is given equal priority. Every node has to contribute to the overall decision making process, to compute certain things, to perform certain activities. Every node is equally involved. That is why these distributed systems are also known as peer to peer systems. Okay? Hope I am clear with all the things. So, with this, what will happen? What will happen? Suppose that node A is not well, then node B will take up. If node B is not well, then node C will take up. If either of the nodes are not well, then they will have some backup. Okay, they will have some backup associated with them. Okay, so blockchain is basically a distributed architecture. It uses distributed architecture. Okay, clear? Am I clear with the types of architecture and the differences? These are not the type of blockchain architectures,
Yes, ma'am.
but these are the general architectures which existed before, like which existed right from the beginning. Okay, since when the computer networking has come into existence. Initially, people had centralized, then to overcome the difficulties, they switched to decentralized. It also had some kind of difficulties. Then people found that distributed is a better, preferable one. Okay, so blockchain is built using this distributed architectures. Actually, in some textbooks, they will also mention that blockchain is based on decentralized, but actually, it is not so. Now it is updated to distributed only. Okay, so now if I ask you to define blockchain, okay, so defining blockchain, how can you do that? Defining blockchain, yes, blockchain is a distributed computation and information sharing platform. Okay, it is why we use this blockchain, why we are having multiple nodes across. Yes, because they need to communicate among each other. They need to share some information across each other. Okay, so it is a distributed and information sharing platform. Okay, that will allow multiple authoritative domains. Okay, please note this, there is no single authority, there are multiple representatives, multiple authoritative domains. Okay, to cooperate, to coordinate, and to collaborate with each other. Okay, in the decision making process. What kind of decision making? Yes, do anyone have an idea in stock market, share market, or stock market? Someone might be interested. No?
A little bit, ma'am.
A little bit. So, can you just brief out how what is the process followed?
Like in the buying of shares or the marketing one.
Anything, whatever you know, you just speak out.
So usually the market is from Monday to Friday, and it starts around 9 a.m. where the share values of each companies will be displayed. And is the if you're interested and you want to buy or purchase a share of the company, uh, you have to see the how the rates are fluctuating and how it is varying, and then purchase it.
Okay. So, do you have complete information about the companies
No,
in
we
which you
only
want to invest?
the we only get the details of what is the product the company works on and their financial year budget, the details of those. They just
Okay.
display that they have spent over this much, this many crores in this sector and this everything like that. So
Okay.
based on the idea and if making what to do, how to invest, is it good for that? We based on that things we invested.
Okay. That means,
We basically get the market cap.
yes, yes. Continue.
Yes, ma'am. So we basically get the market capital, the high value, low value, and as well as the volume of the shares.
Okay. 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 Thank you, Bhargav and Srinivas. So, very nice inputs you have given. So, we can just relate this blockchain to that particular share markets or stock market trading. Okay, so we are trying to invest our money so that we can get some profit out of it, isn't it? Now, be it real estate or be it anything, People usually make some investments to get better profits. The same thing is happening, okay, even here in this blockchain technology also. Okay, multiple people, they try to gather at one place. Okay, they are not completely aware about each other. Okay, that means just like you can take an example of yeah, stock market is one good example. And another is like when multiple people are trying to attend an interview, the interviewer does not know about each and every person, but based on how they present, the job will be offered, isn't it? The one who performs best, job will be offered to them, isn't it? The similar kind of concept is adopted in this blockchain also. Okay, so it allows multiple authoritative parties, okay, who don't trust each other because they are all new to each other, isn't it? So who don't trust each other, but they cooperate, they coordinate with each other, and even they collaborate with each other in order to come out with a decision in the decision making process. Okay, this is how we can define a blockchain. Wide set of definitions exist, but I found that to start up with, this is a basic definition, okay, with which you can understand blockchain more clearly. Okay, otherwise you have the other textbook definitions also, like it is a distributed ledger, and it is verifiable, it stores the data in a permanent way, all that. Now itself I don't want to induce that into your minds. Okay, so, simply speaking, blockchain is a decentralized or distributed system, information sharing platform, which allows multiple parties to cooperate, coordinate, and collaborate with each other in the decision making process. Okay, so, yes, there are security issues, but you can overcome the use of brokers in between. The intermediate parties, they can be removed. Okay, now, for example, I will give you one good example. Now, for land registrations, can anyone tell me this land registration process? We have in detail about that. We will see it in fifth unit later. But as of now, to understand the use need for blockchain, can anyone tell me? Someone might have registered for certain property that they have purchased. It may be land or it may be any other property. Yes, you might have gone no with your parents to the registration office. So what will happen there? How the registration is carried out? Yes, anyone, those who have idea, please speak out. No idea? No idea? Okay, at least in between buyers and sellers. Okay, at least in between buyers and sellers. Okay, are there a group of intermediate group of people involved, or directly the product is sell it is sold by the seller, and it is purchased by the buyer? Is it happening in that way, or are there any group of intermediate people involved?
Intermediate
Yes,
group of
answer.
people are involved.
Yes, very good. Thank you. So there are a group of intermediate people involved. What they will do is they will try to eat away certain benefits that you will get. Generally, you call commission, isn't it? Commission, istara, interest, commission, all the terms will be used whenever you use the brokers. Okay, actually, we should not use this term broker, but we call them as intermediate people. Okay, so by using this blockchain, those the role of that brokers can be eliminated. Okay, so with this, what will happen? How much profit you want? That will directly go into your account only. There, you will not pay anything for some third party. I don't know. Okay, so you will not pay anything to the third party. Okay, right? So that kind of difficulties or that kind of losses will be overcome whenever you're trying to use with this, or whenever you're trying to adopt this blockchain technology. Okay, so mostly it is used for financial transactions. That is the reason why people mistaken blockchain with Bitcoin. Okay, but Bitcoin is in fact using this technology. Okay, Bitcoin is, what is Bitcoin? What is Bitcoin? Can anyone tell me?
Cryptocurrency which uses blockchain.
Very good, very good. It is a cryptocurrency. Okay, now what exactly is that cryptocurrency? Cryptocurrency is nothing but it is just a digital asset. Okay, it is a digital asset that acts as a medium of exchange. Okay, across the parties. Okay, in between buyer and seller, the cryptocurrency is used as a medium of exchange. Okay, just like you do your trading, stock market, share market trading and all, in the same way the cryptocurrency is utilized. Okay, but that currency is in terms of bitcoin value. Okay, whatever is the value of the bitcoin today, okay, it will be however in dollars only, but whatever is the current value, that much profit you will earn. Okay, but only thing is, though you are using all this, you should be in a position to even incur certain losses also. Okay, because see, you're taking lot of risk here, isn't it? You do not trust each other. Okay, just like whenever a person is hiring, okay, interviewer is hiring people. Okay, what he will do? He will simply get impressed by the way in which the interview is performing. Okay, and based on that, the job will be offered. Okay, so he will that interviewer will never know whether that interviewee is a good person or a bad person, whether he will try to get good name to the company or bad name, isn't it? Lot of risk is involved there also. Yes or no? The similar case of things, similar kind of things are happening even in the blockchain system also, due to which there are certain issues, okay, which you can develop it. Okay, now lot of research is going on, even I started exploring blockchain last year itself. Okay, but initially when I started to explore, okay, when I started to explore, there were very few articles, nearly thousand or 1500 articles were there all over the world. Okay, but due to this COVID era, people started using blockchain even for this COVID based apps and all. So the research has drastically increased. Okay, from 1000 or 1500, it now is in some tens of thousands. Okay, so like that the research is increasing, people are exploring the technologies, okay, so that it should be used in a proper way without harming the society. It should be always for the benefit of the society. Okay, right? So this was all about the introduction. I will pause for a while. If you have any doubts, you please let me know. Please feel free to interact, because even I will also learn and explore several things along with you. Yes, someone, can you brief out what all things we have discussed so far for the people who have joined late? Come on, feel free, ma. Just briefly, whatever we have discussed.
Uh, we have discussed what, in a simple manner, what blockchain is, what are the architectures which we have, like distributed, decentralized, centralized. uh, we were discussing about a use case of stock market stuff, how it is how it works in blockchain, everything like that.
Okay,
That's it.
okay. Thank you, Bhargav. Yes, any others want to add any other points? Yes, let me know. Do you want to add anything else? Okay. So, in short, we have just seen a brief introduction to the various types of architecture and why people started switching to distributed, and blockchain is in fact using this distributed technology in order to allow multiple people who can collaborate and communicate with each other. Okay. So, the best example that we have seen is interviewee. Okay, trying to recruit people based on their expertise. Okay, so though there are set of advantages, risk taking is involved, just like investing in mutual funds, isn't it? Mutual fund investments are subject to market risk, but still, what do people do? They will invest because they want profit, isn't it? So, even to explore such things, also, people are using this blockchain, right? Okay, anything else? You please let me know, otherwise, I will proceed further.
That's it, ma'am.
Okay. Right. Now, coming to the way in which information can be transferred. Okay. Uh, Yeah, just let us discuss because since long I have been displaying this slide, but I did not speak anything about this. I'm sorry for that. Yeah, but I would really like to speak in a more general way rather than restricting myself to certain slides and all. Right. So, coming to the current financial systems, you can see here like there are central authorities where the actual value is transferred across two parties by the central authorities, and there are multiple group of intermediate people. Okay, and there are multiple people who are involved in keeping the records as well. Okay, to keep a track of asset transfer and all. This is all the current financial system, but it can be simplified by using this blockchain where it allows the data to be maintained in a immutable way. Okay, so what is this immutable? Immutable is something like the data cannot be changed. Okay, you record the transactions, but you cannot change that. Okay, so something like read only view. Okay, you cannot either update or you cannot alter, just you can view that. So that kind of uh, support is offered via the nodes in the blockchain network. Okay, and of course it is peer to peer because it uses the distributed system technology, and peer to peer transactions using digital tokens to represent assets. Again, this is with respect to Bitcoin. Please do not get confused. Okay, now what are the disadvantages of this current transaction system? Just you can link it with the disadvantages of the centralized system. Okay, so there is huge waiting time in the processing of transactions. Okay, why is it happening? Because there is only one boss. Now suppose there is only one HOD for department. Okay, there is no in charge head, nothing. Many faculty wanted to they wanted to get their forms, leave forms or student applications signed. Then what they have to do? They have to wait until the head is free, isn't it? Yes or no? So lot of time is spent waiting only, right? And what will head do now? They may hire some assistant. That assistant will again uh, demand some amount or some money. So need to third party for verification and execution of transactions. That assistant is nothing but third party. Okay, for whom some amount has to be paid. Though the work is getting simplified, amount is being disbursed to them, right? And if the head itself is compromised, that is central server itself is compromised, that means if they resign, then the entire system will be affected, right? So these are all the difficulties of the current banking transaction systems. Nothing but they are in short centralized in nature. Okay, so we can make it distributed by applying this blockchain technology. Okay, so here this is what do you say, the book based definition, I can say. So it is a technology that permits transactions to be gathered in blocks. Okay, that means in this particular representation we have seen each, this is nothing but I can take it as an individual desktop or laptop, whatever it is. We can also call it as a node. This inside this particular node we are recording, we are creating blocks, and each and every block will in turn have transaction. You can see one rectangular box here. Okay, this can be taken as a block, and inside each block there are certain lines